Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller, and as Chair of the Board, I welcome you to this November 15th, 2022 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Aaron Smith will now describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Aaron?
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make public comment during today's meeting, whether you're joining us in person or virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make public comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you're joining us virtually, we will ask you to virtually raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you're joining us virtually, the chat feature on the Zoom meeting is available only as technical support for users on their computer or smartphone. If you're experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and I will help you troubleshoot. If you're a staff member experiencing issues, please contact the IT help desk for assistance. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded. A link to the video recording will be posted to WC Roads in the next coming days. There are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table here, and it is also posted on our website. And there is a link available in the chat if you're joining us virtually. And now I'll turn it over to Chair Barb Fuller.
Thank you, Aaron. I now call this meeting to order and ask if Aaron would call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller.
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green.
Present.
Commissioner Douglas Fuller has an excused absence today. Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Present.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Present.
And the following directors are in attendance. Managing Director Cheryl Siddle, Director of Engineering and County Highway Engineer Matt McDonough, Director of Operations Adam Leap, and Director of Finance and IT Dan Ackerman.
Thank you, Aaron. If you would please join us in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Support.
Any discussion, any changes, additions, deletions? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next item is acceptance of the minutes. We have one set of minutes to accept today. May I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of November 1st, 2022, appearing on pages 4 through 14 of the board packet?
So moved. Support.
Any corrections, additions, or deletions? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is public comment. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board. Aaron Smith will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments. Aaron?
Thanks, Chair Fuller. Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For virtual attendees, we ask that you virtually raise your hand now. If you're viewing the meeting on your computer, first make sure to click Join Audio. You can then raise your hand by clicking the Participants or Reactions button at the bottom of your screen and then the Raise Hand button. If you dialed into the meeting from your touch-tone phone, raise your hand by dialing *9. I will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time. I will announce your username or last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. Please share your name and address before beginning your comments. For in-person attendees, we will start with those of who have signed up on the sign-in sheet as you walked in. If you didn't sign in, you're still welcome to make comment. I'll notify you when it is your turn. At this time, we have no virtual participants with a raised hand or no in-person attendees with a raised hand.
Thank you, Aaron. We will move on to written communications, which appear on pages 15 and 16 of our packet. Is there anything there that commissioners wish to draw our attention to?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, I just have a question. I was just wondering, where under the road work advisories, where it says lane restrictions, Ellsworth Road is mentioned twice. The only difference is I think the dates it's issued. So I was just wondering why that was on there twice.
Cheryl, would you like to comment or ask one of your people to do that?
Actually, it looks like Emily knows the details. I do believe it was related to utility work.
Oh, thanks, Mayor. So Emily Kaiser, Communications Manager. So that advisory was issued twice because the dates simply changed. It was, it's a permit job for a utility project. And so we issued the first one and then it changed. And so then we had to issue the second one. So unfortunately, that's the bane of my existence, but it does happen, especially this time of year. So we try not to, but that's why we had to issue that one twice.
Thank you. Emily.
No problem.
Anything else? All right. We will move on then. There was no public comment, so there's no response required. We'll move to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, items 1 through 8, descriptions on page 17 through 22.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support.
Commissioner, did you have a question?
I do.
Commissioner
Thank you.
McCollum,
So I was.
identify the item, please.
Yes, the items that I would like to have more understanding is item, the traffic control order for Riker Road and Tyler Road. A 1 and 2, and it's on 18 and 19, I believe. Yes, pages 18 and pages 19.
And what is your question?
Well,
Just in general?
I'm not understanding, so Riker Road, says that they're putting a stop sign there. I'm not understanding, was there a stop sign or, is that changing or, I'm not understanding, the motion.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes, Matt McDonald, Director of Engineering. So these traffic control order under consent, they're essentially cleaning up and matching up what's out there. Ultimately, the TCO did not indicate properly what the condition is that exists today. Currently, there is a stop sign at Riker, and the through road is the other, Island Lake. So what traffic and safety section is doing is making sure that in working with our signs and our traffic control orders, we do a review, we're required to. And this one in particular did not have the proper TCO. So we're rescinding the previous TCO. We're establishing that there's a stop sign at Riker and Island Lake is the through road.
Oh, I
That
see.
is the current configuration and is actually out.
So
there
there'll be no
today.
physical changes that
Okay.
happen out on
Okay.
the road network.
Okay.
It's just now the TCO is documented properly and recorded so that law enforcement, if someone were to not adhere to that, they could go to the TCO and say, here it is.
and then Tyler Road as well. You had a question about?
Yeah, Tyler Road, do they have a speed limit sign or they need one or?
Sorry.
So Tyler Road
No, no.
was previously there was a TCO for I believe it was 35, but we went back and did the research and the speed laws changed over time, and it allows for in a residential setting for the prima facie to revert to 25 miles an hour. So we're now referencing that revised law and that particular circumstance. That is a residential area. It's a platted subdivision roadway, and therefore the speed limit can be set at 25 rather than the previous TCO, which was actually higher.
Right, right. So that sign is going to change.
I believe it, I don't know the current state, if it's actually, if there are signs out there, but in doing the research of the old TCOs,
I
it was
see.
discovered, oh,
Mhm.
wow, there's a TCO out there for a higher speed limit than what
Mhm.
it should be, and so we're now switching it. And that Tyler Road is west of
Yeah. Yeah.
US 12.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there are signs out there.
We can verify that.
Yeah, we can verify that, but rest assured, if there aren't, or if there were, we'll have it changed to 25 mile an hour.
Thank you.
You bet.
Cleared it up.
You bet.
Commissioner Yamas.
So I have questions.
Sorry, no problem.
So
Strobe light. go.
just a technical issue. So it says we're rescinding those TCOs. Are we not reassigning the TCO or just changing the language of the traffic control order?
We're rescinding the previous traffic control order.
Okay,
and
so-
establishing a new.
Okay, so what I didn't see was a traffic control order number. So I guess that's why I was
So
confused.
when we go to sign them, there'll be a number assigned, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. you
Once
bet.
they're approved by the
Once they're
board.
approved by the board, then we'll get assigned. And when we have the official signatures, there'll be a TCO number assigned to it.
Thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions? Good questions. Okay, thank you, Mr. McIntyre. There are no further questions. Aaron, would you please call the roll? Okay,
Commissioner Joanne McCullum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
yes. Next on our agenda is new business action items. We have 2 action items today to consider. May I have a motion to approve action item number 1? To accept certain roads within the Majestic Lake condominiums, Phase 1 in Ypsilanti Township. There is a map on page 43 of our packet to help people visualize where this is taking place. The actual resolution is stated on page 23. May I have someone move the resolution on page 23 for action item number 1?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. Is there discussion? Are we okay by not reading the whole thing?
That's what I was wondering.
You want me to read it? Okay, so,
Just for those who might be listening. I don't
okay,
know who it
so
would be.
action item number 1, Majestic Lakes condominium, Phase 1, public road acceptance. That upon the recommendation of the Director of Engineering, County Highway Engineer, and concurrence of the Managing Director, the board hereby accepts the following roads within the Majestic Lakes condominium Phase 1, located in section 26 of Ypsilanti Township, into the county road system. Buck Crossing, Country View Drive, Fawn Drive, Shula Vista, north of the County View Drive, Whitetail Court, and Whitetail Drive.
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions about this? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next item, may I have a motion to approve action item number 2 to accept certain roads within the Majestic Lake condominium Phase 1 in Phase 2 in Ypsilanti Township. The map again is on page 43 and Aaron has posted a map on our monitors to help us see that as well. The resolution is stated on page 23. If someone would move and read resolution for action item number 2.
Madam
Ma-
Chair,
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Go ahead.
a proposed motion that upon the recommendation of the Director of Engineering, County Highway Engineer, and concurrence of the Managing Director, the board hereby accepts the following roads within the Majestic Lakes condominium, Phase 2, located in section 26 of Ypsilanti Township, into the county road system. County View Drive, Maple Lawn Court, Maple Lawn Drive, and Whitetail Drive.
I support.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions about this action item? I see none. Aaron, please.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next on our agenda are reports. I see that we have County Commissioner Caroline Sanders with us today from District 4. Commissioner Sanders, would you like to speak to us? Who mutes and who unmutes?
Yep.
There we go.
Good afternoon. I don't think I really have any update other than to say it looks like you're stuck with me for another 2 years.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Congratulations, Carolyn.
Happy news.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good to see everybody. And Commissioner Yamas, I'm glad to see you back.
Thank you.
all right. I do not see Commissioner Schenk with us, so we'll move along to the reports of the County Road Commissioners. Commissioner Green.
Thank you. On November 2nd, I attended the communication workshop in Mount Pleasant. It was a very great workshop, talked about branding, getting our message out, making sure that we speak as one voice so that the managing director, and that the commissioners, and that employees aren't saying different things to different people. So it was an all-around great workshop. It was very well attended. Last year I was there, I think we had maybe 3 times the amount of people this year. So I certainly recommend other members of the board, if you'd like to join us, I recommend it highly. Yeah. And as well, on the 7th of November, I attended the meeting of the Southeast Council, which was held in Jackson, Michigan. On November 9th, I attended the chat session of the Washtenaw County Road Commission. We didn't have any attendees. And on yesterday, I attended the grand opening of the newest Ypsilanti District Library in Superior Township. That was a project that I was a part of as a trustee for Superior Township. So it was very well attended. A lot of local leaders were there, and I think it was a great event. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, on November 8th, I attended the Washtenaw County Parks and Rec meeting. And the report on the border to border trails. There is construction from Zeeb Road to Delhi Metro Park, continues with LJ construction. Drainage, grading, and wall construction is underway. The project is anticipated to finish in 2023. 110, 110 trees planted along the Chelsea Connector segment from Veterans Park to Werkner Road prior to the ribbon cutting at the end of October. Engineering and permitting are in various stages for the following trail segments: Barton, Bandamer Tunnel and Trail, Delhi Metro Park to Wagner Road, Dexter Chelsea, Wiley Road to Parker Road, and to Mill Creek Park in Dexter. M52 from North Territorial Road to Boyce Road, Hudson Mills Metro Park to Stinchfield Road Woods, and Silver Lake State Park. On November 3rd, I attended the webinar Updates and Resources for Local Governments. On November 9th, I attended the workshop on how to write good road agency policies, and I really enjoyed that one. So that's my report. Thank you.
You've all been very busy. Commissioner Yamas.
On 11/2, I attended the chat session. We also had no one attend, although I had a really good conversation with Cheryl and Aaron. It was great. Anyway, and on 11/9, I read the legislative update, which reflected the elections and coming up legislation. 11/14, I drove the Packard and Carpenter Road project, which is beautiful and is completed. And that's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have just a couple of brief items. One, I want to compliment all the candidates in their campaigns for promptly removing political yard signs from the rights of way. It was like magic. 2 days after the election, there were hardly any out there. So I want to give them a compliment on that point. I also want to remind the road commissioners that we're interested in working session topics for 2023. If you can think about that and submit them, we'll get them plugged into the calendar for next year. At this time, I will turn it over to our managing director for her report and that of her staff. Cheryl?
Sure. Thank you, commissioners. I'll start by asking if you have any questions about the various reports that were included in the board packet. Yes,
I
Commissioner
have just
Green.
one question, because I was asked this by one of the county commissioners. What is the policy as it relates to campaign signs, is it our responsibility as a commission to make sure they're removed? Or if they're improperly placed, is it our responsibility to let the candidate know that a sign is improperly placed, or
We do
who's got
have,
that responsibility?
right, we do have a policy with respect to road signs, in general, whether they be campaign signs or advertising signs, that type of thing. We don't permit them in the road right of way. We do not have the resources to go out and uniformly remove them or to notify candidates that we've picked them up and they might need to want to come get them from our yards. We will only remove them if they interfere with either sight distance, so they're creating a safety issue, or if they're in the way of some type of service that we need to perform, like mowing or ditching or something along those lines. But we do have a policy on that, and we send that out in advance of campaign season to the county clerk's office, and they've usually done a nice job of at least sharing that. That's my understanding with candidates, so that they are aware of the our sign policy as well.
So if there's a violation by a candidate, I'm assuming that we have no power to issue any type of citation or anything like that.
We do not issue citations. Again, if they are interfering with sight distance or some kind of an operation that we need to perform, we will remove them and then we will dispose of them. We do not offer the opportunity to come pick them up. We just simply dispose of them, and we're uniform. It doesn't matter whether that's a campaign, an election sign, or again, a mattress sale or whatever it might be. We treat them all the same.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Is that an adequate response for everybody? Okay. Please continue.
Oh, absolutely. So just a couple quick things. I know there was an email that was sent out by MDOT, I believe about a week and a half ago, to anyone that has DocuSign. It was very confusing what we were to do or not do. At the end of the day, Chris was able to follow up. There's different functions for DocuSign, but basically, as far as the commissioners go and many of us on staff, we're simply using it to sign. Now it is a certified signature and all of that. So that's why MDOT has asked that we use that program whenever we're signing MDOT documents. So that is why we're using it, but we're only signing. And since that's our only function with it, frankly, we don't have to do anything else. If we want to respond to it and say, I only use it for signature, that works. But if you don't do anything, that is going to be the assumption. There's others that do other things with it. They need to clarify that with MDOT. The rest of us, we can just let it go. So hopefully that helps. I know there was a lot of confusion. It was very unclear based on the message, what we were supposed to do with that. So we should all hopefully be good with that. And then a couple things, as Commissioner Green indicated back on November 7th, Adam and I joined Commissioner Green at the Southeast Council, the CRA Southeast Council meeting. So that was good to see our peers. That's a quarterly meeting. It was held this past quarter, was at Jackson County. So it's always interesting to hear what others are doing and to share our experiences. In so many ways we're the same, and in so many ways we're different. So it's always an interesting time. And then I have very good news that last night, Adam Lape, Dennis Bussey, and then our Hobson Black team and myself attended the Scioto Township Planning Commission meeting. And we did receive site plan approval for the salt shed. So we will be moving forward with final engineering and a submittal to the Scioto Township Board. That is how their planning process works. So the ultimate final plans, everything needs to be approved by their Board of Trustees. But we did clear that first hurdle with the Scioto Township Planning Commission last night. So that was very good news. Very good news.
When will the board take that up? Do you know what the time frame is on that?
I believe that we have tentatively talked about January 10th as being the Board of Trustee meeting that ideally we will make. That does require on our part, we have to do a submittal of final plans that have to be reviewed by their staff for recommendation to go to the BOT. So there's some work to take place on our end. And of course, we are in the holiday season in addition to everything else. But that is the goal right now, that January 10th, we hope to be on their agenda for approval.
Very good.
Any questions for me before I turn it over to staff? All right.
I don't think so.
First up, we have Adam Lape, our Director of Operations, who's going to talk to us about winter maintenance,
Yes.
amongst other things, of course.
Adam Lake, Director of Operations. Yeah, unfortunately, winter maintenance is finding its way into our vocabulary now. So a little hesitant, but we'll make it work. So next thing you know, it'll be May. With the completion of the Huron River Drive resurfacing last weekend, we've subsequently wrapped up the paving for the operations department this year. So we're happy to make it through. It's before snow, thankfully. So we made it. Minor incidental works, not revolving around the asphalt, just shoulder work, things like that, striping to finish up some of the jobs. With that being said, the local road program project closeout process is starting underway, prep for billing for a finance department to kind of build the townships and start reclaiming some of the funds that we've expressed in the year. And winter operations will likely begin this week as of 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're going to schedule our group for 2 a.m. tomorrow. Little atypical, but since we are before night shift, our night patrol, we're going to start a little early tomorrow because there is no salt residue on the road first time of the year. So could be pretty cold and could be wet enough to cause some issues. So the county will come in full crews at 2 a.m. and get some material down on the road to just let that salt work, just in case something wants to freeze overnight. So get it ready for everybody for rush hour, and welcome to the 2022 and 23 winter season. So we're prepared, right? It'll be nice to get a bit of a wet run, let everybody exercise everything with this small, low event.
Right.
Getting the trucks and kind of feel everything out, exercise the trucks and ourselves. So get things prepped for that. So the Manchester roof that was approved a few weeks ago is subsequently finished as well. It's complete, the roof itself, and we're working just on punch list items. So really clean up and just a little bit of the cap on the edge, the rain cap on the edge of the roof. So that project will be complete in less than 3 weeks. So that's amazing. Thank you. We're happy to keep the water off of us in there so that crew can get back to normal out of the Manchester yard and keep going for the winter time now. So
Yeah, weather cooperated on that whole thing, didn't
we're
it?
really lucky. Everything just fell into the right line.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little stressful in, August, September, trying to get it together when no one wanted to do it. And we were able to benefit from a contract that actually had materials on hand. So
Great.
that's what helped us.
Great.
Without any other questions, that is all I have for today. Winter, winter, winter for us. So. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
You're welcome.
All right, next up, we have Matt Washtenaw, Director of Engineering.
Good afternoon again, commissioners.
Good afternoon.
As we went through the working session budget, we were looking ahead to 2023, and that's much of what our staff is doing in the engineering department. We're wrapping up construction, but a lot of preparation going into 2023 project lists, getting ready for bidding, both locally and through the state for our federally and state funded projects. So a lot of that effort is underway so that we can get into favorable bid lettings in February, March, and April so that we can get favorable prices. And then we have some projects we're going to bid a little later, knowing that quite likely some of the projects will end up being 23 and 24 construction season. So there are some projects in the design phase that we are acknowledging that we're going to have to do a little utility coordination, a little right-of-way acquisition. So it's going to take a little longer. So we are in the midst of all that. So as you look through budget for 2023, if you have questions on projects specific of what we're doing and why, or what the limits are, feel free to ask. We will also be preparing a map. I think there was a map, but I'll get that out to you via email after this meeting, so you can kind of get a picture of where we'll be working in 23.
Great.
With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions if you had any. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
You bet.
And last but not least, he's been talking a lot today. Ackerman, our Director of Finance and
He has a
IT.
small notepad. So
I do. Dan Ackerman, Director of Finance and IT. So just a couple of updates because you've already heard me talk a lot today. So I'm happy to report all the state trunk line changes with the activity codes and months and months of planning and, just trying to set things up. We've had to get our Precision, our financial software folks involved, a lot of our employees. I'm happy to report we did submit our October state trunk line routine billing, and it was processed. I can see when the state processes it for payment. So basically we got to the finish line, and I'm glad that project is done, to be honest. So hopefully the state of Michigan doesn't just decide to make any other wholesale changes on us, and hopefully the changes they made are beneficial for their agency. Maybe they're beneficial for us, Adam. I don't know. I guess time will tell with everything, but obviously we needed to comply, but I'm glad to report we got to the finish line, and I won't have to think about that project too much anymore. So that's good. As Adam mentioned, this is one of finance's favorite times. We're working on preparing invoices to send to townships for final township billings. We have culvert shares, the townships share on those projects, traffic calming invoices, just a ton of manual invoices. And that's one of our favorite things to do when we're invoicing others to receive payment. We will literally drop everything to make that happen. So I've been working closely with staff to, Adam's probably tired of us saying which of these projects are done, can we invoice yet? So, but anyway, we have a ton of those that we're going to be working on the next few weeks, which is great. And obviously we want to get them out as soon as we can. We need to receive them within 60 days of the end of the year in order to be able to account for it in our current budget. So there is there's a time certain there that we want to invoice and then make sure we receive all those payments. And also I appreciate the budget discussion this morning. I thought there was a lot of great questions from all of you, and we welcome that. And Commissioner McCollum had some follow-up emails for me after our discussion, which is great. Certainly keep those coming if there's other things that you think of or other questions that you have. Because I think it's good for the board to have as clear of an understanding as possible. So. And then IT related, Josh is working on our CMAC computer refreshes. So that probably means even more to the commissioners now. And Matt's team, it's about $40,000 they have for computers and various components. It's actually 18 computers that we're able to purchase with those funds, which is great. And it's 100%, I believe, grant, right? 100% reimbursable. So there's no local share. And, that definitely helps us stay on top of all of our computer refreshes. Also next week, Chris, Josh, and I have a site visit to the vendor that's working on improvements to room 106, basically all the audiovisual work similar to 234 permit side.
Okay.
Yep. This is the same vendor that's handled 200, 234 in the assembly room. So we're quite familiar with them. But this time the goal is we would like to have the site visit and make sure everything's functioning properly at the vendor, and then hopefully they can bring it here and install it, and we expect it to be up and running. So that's at least the goal. So I'll certainly report back to all of you on that. And then lastly, it's budget time, and Chris and I have also been talking budgets as far as IT. What do we plan on spending the next couple months here and then in 2023? Chris does a great job with spreadsheets, very detailed and very easy to follow. And so he and I are definitely on the same page as far as all that. And certainly all that was included with the budget documents that we covered this morning. But we want to make sure that we have appropriate budgets that I think I've shared with you. We've made some significant investments with IT, but that it doesn't necessarily say, oh, we're good for the next 5 years. We always have to look ahead, and technology is changing all the time. So we just want to make sure we're staying on top of it as best we can. And that's my report, unless there's any questions.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Commissioner Yamas.
I was wondering if you could go over the MTF report, the Michigan Transportation Fund receipt. You normally do cover that.
Yeah, so I just covered it verbally at our last meeting.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, could you pull it up possibly? I think it's the last page of the packet.
There you go. You want me? Just
Is this the?
Yes.
Okay, oh, I've got it here, that's okay. So, September of 2022, it was basically flat. I mean, out of $3 million, it was within $7,000, so it was basically flat. So year to date from 2022 to 2021, so for 9 months, it's about 2% increase. And again, compared to our budgets, maybe even a little closer than I'd like it to be, but you know, we would still, if we received 2% more than last year, it would be at almost 34 million. We're budgeting 33,650, which, you know, we still have 3 months to go. So I think we're in good shape as far as that's concerned. And looking at October, Cheryl, I don't know if you recall, but that appears to be by far the lowest month. So I wonder if the state made some adjustments last October, but you know, so just looking at how low that is, I gotta imagine October of 22 should be higher than the 2.1 million from last year, but we'll see.
You would think, but there often is not a rhyme nor a reason to why
Exactly.
they're.
Right.
Okay.
New
Thank
fiscal
you.
year and all that.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so I have a question. Once the the conference room in the permits area is upgraded, is that everything? Is that all the conference rooms?
I believe so at this time, yes. Mhm.
Okay, okay.
Yep. Obviously, there'll be other projects and things, but you know, as far as that's concerned, I believe that's the last one, so.
And what about our trucks in terms of those having, are there any plans for computers in the trucks?
Well, we're talking about, what is it, what's the term for it again?
Are you talking about the AVL, the automatic vehicle location systems, like GPS?
I don't know if you have any.
Adam Leap, Director of Operations. Plan is to start working some type of demo for next year.
Great.
When we actually get some trucks in, kind of at a place, we don't have anything new to put them in and start demoing. We have a couple of vendors that we want to speak with and just see what we can demo and see what's out there.
That's good.
Yeah, luckily, a lot of our peers that we all work with have implemented this throughout the state. So we're just kind of picking everybody's brains, what they like, what they don't like, and kind of essentially cherry picking, you know, vendors that have proven successful, speaking with them first, demoing with them. So that's the initial plan for next year. We start getting some new equipment in to actually demo something.
And are our drivers ready for this, eager for this?
We hope that we're going to be eager. We're going to
Or, you know,
explain
just one or
ourselves
two,
too.
right, for pilots? I mean, it
It'll
isn't as though-
honestly probably be one to start with.
Okay.
From each vendor. I don't know if they work together. That's something we don't know yet. If, you know, we can run multiple at once, if it won't affect working on our system, which it may or may not. We don't know that yet. So that'll be for the vendors to kind of explain to us when we're learning with them.
Okay,
But yeah, for protecting our interests, it's going to be great. It's going to be great for our drivers.
Yep.
You know, it's more for what we're doing and how aggressive people are around us. We're not usually the problem, which is a good thing, but it's nice to have something that solidifies that we're usually in the right spot. We're doing the right thing. We're not speeding. We're not, you know,
Right.
being aggressive because we're big trucks. We don't really go that fast anyways, but sometimes the persona is put off a little differently. So it'll be nice to protect our interests, just for everyone's safety and for our whole agency, I should say.
great.
So that's the plan.
Okay.
Anything else?
Anybody? I don't see anything.
Great, thank you.
So thank you, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Dan. That's it for staff
That's it.
today.
Okay. At this point, I'd like to point out, remind everybody that our next meeting is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. This is a change. Typically, we meet on Tuesdays, so all of you that are joining us virtually, please be aware. We're meeting on Wednesday, December 7th, instead of Tuesday, December 6th, because there is a symposium going on that we have at least 2 staff members as key presenters for, and I believe most of the Board of Commissioners will be in attendance as well. So those of you listening, it's Wednesday, not Tuesday, that first meeting in December. For our regular board meeting, no working session. Tomorrow, the chat with the road commissioner, I'm on call for that one. November 23rd, we will not have a chat with the road commission because that's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And because of our low mod rating, our managing director and her senior staff have decided to reward our employees by extending to them an extra day of leave. So they'll be able to prepare for Thanksgiving a day early.
Half day, 4 hours.
Half day, 4 hours, whoops. So all of you out there listening, it's a half day, not a full day, November 23rd. And then on November 30th, Commissioner Green will be the road commissioner in the chat session. So unless there's anything else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So move.
Support.
Aaron, please.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the snow.